Welcome to the Language Alchemy podcast, where you transform how you communicate to have the life and relationships you truly want. I'm your host, Alejandra Siroka, and I help multicultural individuals, couples, and change makers move beyond surface level politeness and conflict avoidance to have authentic, value-based interactions that actually resolve issues and deepen connection. If you are tired of rehashing conversations in your head, walking on eggshells, or feeling misunderstood in your most important relationships, this podcast will give you a new way forward. And if you've been thinking about getting support with communication, visit languagealchemy.com to find out which transformative communication program is most beneficial for you. Today, we have two very special guests, Laurie Kubicek and Kimberly Khare, who I had the honor of coaching. I've invited them to talk about their long-term relationship and what they discovered, both about themselves and about each other. We worked together for a year in the Language Alchemy Couples Communication Program. Hello, Kimberly. Hello, Laurie. Welcome.
Hi, Alejandra.
So beautiful to have you here at the Language Alchemy podcast. And thank you for saying yes. Thank you for your generosity.
Our pleasure. Talk about an honor.
Thank you. I wanted to start by you sharing a little bit of your stories. You both come from different environments. You grew up in different places. Tell us a little bit about that.
This is Laurie. I grew up in the Midwest, lived in the same house my whole life. I am one of 9 kids, two girls and 7 boys, and 2 amazing parents that are no longer with us. And just lived kind of in that kind of small town, Midwestern, ginormous family situation.
All those layers of culture is there for you. Midwest, big family, 2 girls, 7 boys, and also neither of your parents are here in their physical. And how about you, Kimberly? Did you also grow up in the Midwest?
No, not
a big family.
I lived in the Midwest for a little while. I am a military kid and traveled all around the United States. And we lived California, we lived New York State, we lived DC, Virginia, we lived Michigan, we lived Texas, we lived all over Nebraska. So I did live in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did not grow up in the same house. I grew up in lots of different houses. Home for me became less about the building and more about my family, my mom, my dad, and my little brother, who growing up, I wasn't so sure about him because he annoyed me. However, he's one of my favorite humans in the world. And I am fortunate that my parents, who I love dearly, are still alive.
All these different layers of culture with a military family, you probably had to make friends wherever you went, and you went to different schools and were the new kid several times and had to get used to being the new kid. And coming from a small family, not a big family. And then the 2 of you got together, fell in love, and decided to get married. And that was how long ago?
2004. And we were married in 2004. 21 years, 22 years this summer.
When we had our first consultation, the first time we met, one of you, it was you, Laurie, said, I'm coming here to this consultation because I want to know how I'm going to make the next 20 years. What can I do to have these next 20 years be really meaningful, connecting, and deep for both of us? Do you remember that?
I absolutely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much in the first 20 years. And it's like, okay, and now we're here. So what is it going to take?
Mm-hmm. What is it going to take? And I have to say that that was one of the most beautiful intentions that I have heard in a consultation when I asked, why are you here? And how about you, Kimberly? Why did you decide to do this work together after these 20 years of marriage?
Yeah, that's a great question. I loved how Laurie framed it. And when Laurie came to me, because Laurie was the one that did the leg and the heart work to find you, it was so clear how much she wanted to develop our care between us. And something was missing for her, if I may be so bold, when she took the risk to come to me just straight from her little heart. It made me realize that there were things I was missing. And it made me realize, oh, this is my beloved. This is my person. I chose this person. Like, where'd that go? Not that it was, 100% gone. When she talked about finding you, I was like, of course. And then meeting you was just great. And then a lot of learning ensued. I have to give kudos to Laurie for identifying a space that was growing between us that I know I wasn't tending to as intentionally as I thought I was. Ultimately, the reason I ended up saying yes and working with you is what I've learned is I really want to be clear about my intention, and that my intention is to love you. And that means to grow and to stretch and to learn about myself and to learn what you need that I may not be clear about, but gosh, I want to do the work.
I think that's kind of like what you both said the first time we met in our consultation. I love all my clients. I can't do this work without loving every single person I support. I remember leaving when I said goodbye to you after our consultation and saying to my husband, I just fell in love with this couple and we are going to do such beautiful work together. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what are these things that were either missing or that you wanted more of? Sometimes we think, oh, they're missing. And sometimes we can reframe them as, I want more of this, or I want this. And I want to take my awareness, my attention, my energy in this direction. So what was that for you?
I think for me, there was two things. There was both a large gap, a disconnection that I felt really deeply. And then the other thing I felt was this circle, this rut that we would just slip into so fast. And then all of a sudden it's just not going anywhere. And I just didn't know how to break out of those patterns. I now, better understand and have different language for. It's like, that felt so hopeless. Like, how does she, how do we get out of these patterns that only happen really in relation to each other? I mean, maybe they do happen in other places in the world, but they mostly happen here. And they just got so deep and hard to find my way out of.
Yeah. And what are some things in this work that we did together that you noticed, either about these patterns or, how deep the groove was of these patterns that you kept going round and round?
I'll start with that one again. The thing that I've learned in different iterations of couples counseling or marriage therapy that we've had in the past, where I know that I'm not perfect. I did get this. I did know this. But what I learned from you in such a beautiful and salient way was that this is way beyond this relationship with Kimberly, that this goes back to a time when I was young and didn't know any better. And the things that I learned that got me into those ruts kept me safe. And again, like that sounds like a duh, but there was a way that you put it because it was really about language. It wasn't about deep psychotherapy. It was just, no, this is the words that you heard or didn't hear. And these were the words that you said or didn't say to help you navigate these moments the best your little 3, 4, 5, 7-year-old self could do. And that was so empowering to feel like, oh, it really is about words. So that was something for me.
Thank you, Laurie. And how about you, Kimberly?
My pattern that I learned about is I tend to track with other people in a way that I prioritize that over tracking with myself. It's not like I don't know myself or have an awareness. It's just more like I'm just choosing that. And the reason is safety. What I got to learn throughout my life is, it's much safer if I make sure everybody else around me is good. And sometimes that means I actually do know because you just know people, or perhaps I'm really deeply intuiting that. Other times it was more like, I know that because I'm assuming that, or it was a dynamic, right? And one of the things that right there was something that was really important for me to start to understand about what existed as an element in our relationship, which is, if you haven't been your authentic self and I haven't been my authentic self in some of these moments that may have more charge or conflict, well, then we are creating a narrative that now I'm working with. And I'm thinking, when this happens, this is what's happening for Laurie. And I'm tracking with that. And then it was just like mess on mess on mess. And, the correlational value that I'm on team safety. So,
Yes.
So the safety element, one of the things about being safe and seeking that safety outside of myself meant that it was utterly unpredictable because you can't, control other people as much as you're trying to be safe. And then that the other piece was that I was trying to predict, and then that became like another dynamic. So I just lost groove. And then I love words. I love language. I love to talk. And I was just like, I don't want to, because I just keep feeling like I'm wrong. And that's just another part of my pattern that highly motivates me to either do things and really be a part, or not want to do things. So I was caught in this like, I want to, I don't want to, yeah. That's me.
Yeah, thank you. And, you brought up your core relational value, safety. And I loved that you said, I'm in team safety, because all of us, every single person in the world has a core relational value of safety, or like Laurie, something else. Connection. That's right. And unless we learn about this, I think we worked on these values probably on every single coaching session. But unless we really know this, then we feel alone. And then we feel like, there's like, I'm doing something wrong, or there's something wrong with me, or it's just me. Nobody else is like this. Or we feel like it's just my partner and there's nobody else like them. And when we learn, we're in this team with billions of others, safety or connection, doesn't it relax you?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love thinking about that both for myself as someone who loves connection. So obviously I love thinking that there's all these other people out there. But then to think about all the people in the world that are just looking for security and safety in the world, it helps me then also have more compassion and empathy for my beloved. And it's not that I don't need safety. I do. I absolutely need that. It's just not what so much of myself points at or is drawn to or has just left. And I never really put that together before.
For me, the piece that I appreciated, and I'm having one of those moments where I'm like, oh, I'm a lyricist. I'm like, or I just realized is that just because I'm on team safety doesn't mean I'm not about connection. Just because you're on team connection doesn't mean safety. For me, in my individual coaching with you, because we did both individual and then the couple, the way you framed it for me was you got to feel safe first in order to connect. Not that I'm not about connecting, because I am.
Exactly.
And for Laurie, she needs to connect first in order to feel safe. And it was like, that was a good one for me, which was like, oh, snap. It's like we each need the thing, but it's not the way one or the other leads. And it's not the same thing, but oh, that's how she gets to this. And that's how I get to it. And for me, it was a nice way to, in my head and heart, to frame why there was sort of like a missing at times. Because it wasn't for lack of trying. I mean, yeah, we were experiencing this rut, but we were constantly experiencing it because we were constantly seeking each other. And that was really helpful to understand. And I think my process has been, okay, I've got to track with me and I got to learn what that means for me. Because I spend so much time looking to Laurie or others to provide that safety, again, connected to things I learned in this life, in maybe past lives. And so a lot of work has been about that. And I feel like I'm starting to have the handle on that so that I can really start to attune to, so what is it for you? And you don't feel the same way I do. And you don't want the same sandwich I want. We get to be separate people. And that frame really helps to just understand and have more empathy for Laurie and how she moves in the world.
Can you give us an example of a moment when you both realized, oh, this is because this is my correlational value and this is my beloved's correlational value. Oh, this is why we do things differently or we communicate differently.
Yeah, for me, it really is the way you just framed it. We will be in an interaction or a conversation, and I'll have that moment of, oh, she's going at it this way because that's where her drive is. And I'm asking her to think about it this way, and that's not going to occur for her. So what it does is it allows me to stop, take pause, and hold my own, but then really be open to, okay, yeah, there's other ways to do it. Or what I often find myself saying in my head is, there's Laurie ways to do it. And what are those Laurie ways? And that gets me a little bit back in touch with, I don't know, like when we were first meeting and dating. It's like, oh, who's this chick? And it opens up the curiosity piece. For me, the best example is just being in our kitchen and bumping into each other while we're trying to make dinner and asking her about her day and being more intentional about that ask, and then being available to listening and dropping in and telling myself, listen to what matters to her, not just what happened in the day, right? This clearly sounds like it was really deep for her because it had that connecting experience.
I love how you brought up something that we experience every single day, like being in the kitchen with our partners. Now, Kimberly, you have this awareness of, oh, there she is. This is my beloved. I want to ask her about her day. I want to really listen. I want to listen to what matters to her, because that is going to also create a space of connection for her. But I'm wondering, if we travel back in time and we go to your kitchen, let's say 4 years ago, before you knew what your correlational values were, what was different? What would we find?
Okay, that's a great question. I feel like I had awareness and intention. And then I went and did this coaching and I realized, I don't think my awareness and my intention is as aware and as intentional as I was living it, because I don't think I noted the impact of one of the tools I got from you specific to me is I don't just go running up to Laurie and be like, blah, blah, blah. I actually need to stop and, okay, what is it that I want to say to her? Or wait, is it something I want to say or is it one I want to ask? Or wait, do I want to ask or do I want to know something? Like, let me process and then go do the thing, because I come from people, that's how they communicate. And when that's not how you communicate, it just feels like words are coming at you. And so that probably was what was happening in the kitchen, was just a lot of words from me going to Laurie. And if Laurie was in a space where you had your voice, then maybe her voice was popping in every now and then, but probably she was, I'm wiggling my fingers in the air, listening. But how do you listen to someone who talks for like 90 minutes? So I sense that there was joy and there was also moments of challenge or conflict. And there was a lack of clarity from me, but I didn't know it.
How about for you, Laurie?
Well, I think what is so fascinating about what I've learned about myself, again, I share that sentiment that you said, Kimberly, where it's like, I really thought I knew all the things until I realized that I didn't know what I don't know. One of the things that was so sad and enlightening at the same time was I realized how disconnected I was from myself and from even knowing what I'm thinking about, wanting, or needing. I just kind of cut that part off because that was not safe. Because if I knew that, I did not have any belief in my power to then speak it or actualize it in the world. So it was just easier to not know what I needed or just live, again, kind of, you were saying tracking outside, but I just like either manipulated myself to the world to cause the fewest ripples. So in that kitchen scenario 4 years ago, I probably transformed into something that I absolutely was not, that was not at all connected to anything I was thinking or feeling. And I was probably very quiet and just waiting for someone to connect to me, someone being her, yet I was not at all connected to myself. And that, again, was so sad to learn about, but also completely empowering because that is within my wheelhouse. That's my wheelhouse. So starting to take that courage to kind of peek inside, figure out what's happening in there, and then do the next like 12 steps of courage to then try to speak it out loud, even though it might cause conflict or it might not come to fruition. I really enjoy that question of what did our kitchen look like 4 years ago?
Yeah, because learning that that's occurring for you, and then ways that I am or am not aware, then sort of pile on or into that. It wasn't like I wasn't aware of some of the struggles or challenges. It was, I didn't know what to do. And so I was trying lots of things. And what I learned here in language alchemy is, oh, Kimberly, you got to work on your stuff. And Laurie, you got to work on your stuff. And, when I think about the kitchen now, I know Laurie's working on her stuff. And even though we've been together for 21, 22 years, it's really only this last while that I've seen this wonderful woman work on her stuff, because you've got a way to do it and you're putting in the effort. And then, you have us to be motivating and supporting that. So now in the kitchen, I now know that I don't know. I don't know.
And you're witnessing, Laurie, working, and you know, there is an effort, and that effort is part of that love and that generosity. And not just to pretend, because we got married, everything is going to be great and as lovely as our wedding day or as lovely as when we were dating. Life gets more complicated, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To me, it's fascinating to know that even though we have these correlational values, the patterns that we have learned around them give us the opposite of what we want. So like you were saying, Laurie, you in that kitchen, you were probably staying very quiet, while at the same time, your correlational values connection, and you were so longing for connection and waiting for that connection to come from the outside, to come from Kimberly. And then maybe Kimberly, your correlational value is safety. And maybe you were like talking for what you said, 90 minutes in the kitchen. And then maybe Laurie was like, I have to go, or that's enough. Maybe she wouldn't say anything, but maybe leave, take a break or something. And then maybe you would feel unsafe the end of this interaction. You mentioned, Laurie, that you've done couples therapy and you've done couple counseling. And then you said, but this was different. Language alchemy coaching was different. And I don't think I ever asked you this. What was the difference for you?
I think because at the heart of everything that you do is about communication, is about talking. It's not about all of the stories around it. At the end of the day, you have all of these stories that we both come with, and it makes what comes out of our mouth and how our ears listen, it makes it what it is. So start from that as this is, talk about a value. This is what we value the most, are the words and the words that are coming out of our mouth. Even more like we can touch each other and have like good actions, but it's those words that can either create nirvana or can make hell on earth, or, a million shades in between. And I think because it was focused on that and like learning about like faux feelings. What? Faux feelings is a thing? I can't feel blamed. That's not an actual emotion. Like just learning some of that concrete language-based stuff. All of a sudden, you're actually getting free from some of those stories.
Yeah, that's right. So can you explain to others what faux feelings are, which comes from one of my mentors, Marshall Rosenberg?
Yeah, so it's something that we still work on, so much so that we have printed it and taped it to the wall right in front of my eyes right now. So they're stories or thoughts that imply someone is doing something to us, especially something that connotates wrongness or blame. And what I love about faux feelings is there's this word like betrayed, which is not a true feeling, but then it helps us identify the feelings that are underneath it, like hurt, angry, disappointed, and enraged. Those are actually what you're feeling. And then it goes a step further to talk about, well, these are the values or needs that you have. You're looking for autonomy, to be seen, acknowledgement, appreciation. It's like, what?
That is my contribution. That's what I added.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes, because Marshall had the faux feelings and then the translation, what are the real feelings?
Yeah.
And then I added, what are the values that are connected to these feelings? Yeah. Yeah. Because then the values are the ones that when you are connected to those values, then as you said, they're empowering. They give you the power to say, oh, I want to communicate in alignment to this. This is what matters to me right now. Not what I want to extract from my beloved, but this is what matters to me. This is important to me.
Right.
That's very powerful.
And the one other thing I would add to that I'm just kind of getting a little bit of clarity. I think with other modalities, and all the modalities are good, like go to therapy, go to counseling, like do all the things.
Yes.
But that what I feel you do is you acknowledge the story, but it's not what it's focused on. It's like the story has created some of these patterns, but you are not 4 anymore, Laurie. So it's okay to grow from those and let those stories be where they are. And then this is what's going to start happening to what you are saying and how you're listening in the world. And I think that's just so concrete and holdable.
There's so much awareness already that you came with. And like you said, you have done therapy, you have done counseling, and it's useful to do all these processes and methodologies and then focus on, okay, and how are we perpetuating these patterns, or how do we replace them? And we grow up in our communication and we show up with more of like what we want, not like what we wanted when we were 4 or 5. And I'm wondering, is there anything that you would like to share with listeners who, like you, are in a long-term committed relationship in which maybe they are in that, in that loop of, they're not communicating, they're not feeling connected, they're feeling unsafe with each other, there's conflict. And at the same time, there's love, because there's a lot of love between you.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew that love was not the issue. So is there anything you want people to know?
I think the thing that I valued about all the, as Laurie said, modalities and other experiences we tried, and then what I appreciate about coaching is, if I use the sports metaphor, it put me in, coach. And that's what you do. You put us in it. And you then help us to develop resources to understand it and to sort of separate from the rut. Because the rut, the dynamic, at least for us, for me, I should say, what I would want folks to know is it can get hold of you in a way that you think you are the dynamic. And so you're trying to change it and you're trying to throw everything at it. And you're probably putting all your best at it. And you're probably also putting all your like worst at it, right? Because, you just get like banging your head. And I would say you're a beautiful human being and you're probably a wonderful couple and you deserve some support and you deserve an opportunity to look at, why do we keep ending up in this same place, even if we try different things? And so is it you? Is it me? And the answer is yes, but not like in a negative way, right? It's more of a, yeah. And try this because you want the you and the me, and you need support to uncover that because the rut just takes hold. It's like, it just has you so hard. It's like you're fighting against the tide, and it doesn't have to be that way. Also, if you're already in the rut, and you're already feeling the grind of it, you're already expending a lot of energy. And that energy, if you were to tilt it towards the healing, towards the growing, you're ready for this because you're already putting out a lot of effort. So put it towards something that it takes a little time. You got to work it, and then you got to keep working it, but it will yield the change you're looking for. And you'll be able to do that change together. And that will bring more of that safety and connection.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, very touching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you.
I think for me, what I would say is you might be someone who feels so alone and like there's no ground, you don't know where to start. And you, Alejandra, and the program that you've created here gives people all these tiny little handholds and scaffoldings all along the way. So people know right out of the gate, you're not alone. There's a lot within your power and control here. And so much is possible because you are possible. And that is something that, again, I needed all of those little handholds to know that this isn't just something I'm making up in my head, and I can be brave and I can figure out what I'm thinking and feeling, and I can do all of the things that I know that I need to do now. So just know that you're not alone and that the tools are there, and they are held within one of the most caring people that I've met in you, Alejandra, in terms of someone who is not only full of heart, but also wicked smart, as we would say here in Boston. So you're not alone, and there's someone there that can really care for you in a smart way.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I keep coming back to that consultation because we create first impressions, right? I remember saying to you, it would be an honor to support you. Mm. And it has really been such an honor supporting you both, seeing you grow together in the couple sessions, sometimes holding each other, holding tears, holding laughter, having insights, and then seeing you both in the program that I crafted for couples. You know, I used to just see couples always together. And then they were like, no, there are some patterns that we need to work one-on-one without the partner. And then we'll bring it to the couple session. And getting to know both of you as powerful, intelligent, brilliant, compassionate, funny. You're both so funny. And with such a rich metaphorical language that you both have, that's beautiful. Individually and together, I really could have not imagined what an honor it was going to be, really, working with both of you and seeing you unfold.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. And my wish to you is that you have, and I think, Kimberly, you said it in one of the sessions, in not just 20 years, it's 20 plus 20 plus 20
That's right.
years together in which you have so much beauty and safety and connection, and that you're able to really communicate with each other from the heart, from the belly, from the mind, with all that you are. And you found each other. You chose each other. You continuously make effort with each other, and just keep doing it. Keep unfolding. Right when we started today, we were connecting to ourselves, and Laurie, you said, "May we become," something like that, right? Yeah, keep becoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alejandra.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, until next episode. And as we say in Argentina, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Original music by Gary Lapo. You can find all links in the show notes at languagealchemy.com.